This is object number 1, isometric view, front view, top view, and we can see that the feature on this side is also mirrored over here to this side. Back to the front view, right side view. So we can see the hidden lines for the tops and bottom of the hole that goes through. Back to the front view, top view, back to the front, right side view, back to the front, and then isometric view. Model 2, front view, top view, front view, right side view, isometric view. So we have an oblique plane here with an inclined plane here and an inclined plane here and an inclined plane at the back. So let's go to the front again. Top, front, right, isometric. Model 3. This one's a little complicated because we have a cylinder shape, which is this hole that goes all the way through and intersects a cylinder on the inside and is intersecting a cylinder on the outside. And when cylinders intersect, we get what we call a saddle shape. So let's look at that. Here's the front view. And this will not be a visible line across here. This is going to be a center mark and a center mark coming out. Actually, that will be a visible line because it's this edge here. It's that surface there. So in that case, there will be a visible line and then a center mark on the inside of that. So let's go to front. Now let's go to the top. This is where we're starting to see what those intersections of two cylinders are going to look like. First off, this hole going through has removed some of the material from the larger cylinder. And then when this cylinder, the smaller one, which is a hole, intersects this hole here, we actually get a saddle on the inside of that. So let's go back to here. You'll be projecting to find out where those saddles begin and end from this point where this line comes across and intersects, and at this point. And then on the outside, you'll be projecting from where this hidden line intersects the larger circle. And then from this point here is where it dips in from. So if we go back up to here, you can kind of see the relationship between those things. So back to the front view, and then here is your right side view. Right side view is pretty simple. Front view is pretty simple. Top view is a little bit complicated. Back to the isometric view. Model number 4. Here's the isometric view for model number 4. Here is the front view. Let's go back to the isometric view. So we have an arc coming over the top and blending to another arc, so we should not see a visible line across right here. Usually what I'll do is go in and just turn off the visibility of that. Inventor lets us turn off tangent edges when we want to. So front view, top view, front view, right side view. Now, when this comes around and blends in right here, when we think about the top view, we have to decide, is there going to be an edge that shows? And to me, this looks like just a full blend through there, like it never completely drops straight down to create a plane. So when you go to your top view, the line that is formed by this tangent edge, even though it shows that line here and it shows that line here, it won't show in the top view because there's really no place to project it from. Like if you go over to here, where would you project a line up to your top view? Like if we were just going to our top view right here, even though this line and this line shows, there's really no place to project that from. So here's our front view. Here's our top view. Back to the front. Uh-oh. Go back to my home view again. Back to the front view. Over to the right side view. Back to the isometric view. Here is the fifth model. Front view. That's fairly simple. Top view. Fairly simple. Let's go back to here. I think what's hard about this one is where this edge comes across and stops right there. When you go up to the top view, look how that projects. So this is inset, this edge here, and this edge is inset. So let me go back in a little bit, like that. Go back up here. This line we see coming across right here should be a hidden line. If we go back to here. All right. Now where things get complicated is in the right view. And the reason for that is we have a hole. And we think of a hole as a cylinder that runs vertically all the way through this cylindrical shape here, but it intersects another cylinder inside here. And while normally we would expect to see a saddle shape somewhere in there, we're seeing this X. What that X is the result of is this. If this hole that goes through north and south here intersects this hole that's going through east and west, if they are the same diameter, the result is an X shape instead of a saddle. If they are not the same diameter, you won't get an X shape, you would get a saddle, like we've seen on some previous models. So front view, you can see that this hidden line, which is the outside edges of the hole going through, and the quadrants of this hole match. So they are the same diameters. We have a front view, a top view, a front view, and then it's that right side view where things get a little bit complicated. But really, when you draw the edge of this hole all the way through and the edge of this hole all the way through, and then you draw this hole all the way through, where those lines intersect, that's where your X or your diagonal is going to begin, is right there. So there's the right side view, the front view, the top view, back to the front view, and then to the isometric view. Problem number 6, front view, top view, front view. This is also one of those where this arc comes around, but it never drops straight down. It goes off at an angle. So in the top view, this plane here is smooth. There should not be a solid line or a tangent edge on that. So if I go back to the front view, top view, front view, right view. So you won't see that line right there because that's a smooth blend. Isometric view. Model number 7, front view, top view, front view, right view. Go back to my front view. Isometric view. Problem number 8. This one is a little bit complicated, a little hard to visualize. So it's in the front view, you're going to see these visible lines that you have here. And I'm going to go back to the ISO view so you can see where those are coming from. So the front view is not terrible. It's not too hard. But then go to the top view. And now you've got hidden lines for features that are going underneath this feature up here. So let's go back to here so we can see that. You see all this stuff back in here, and even this edge in that corner there and there are going to be hidden in the top view. So this is all hidden. Everything to the left of that solid line right there to the left is hidden. In the right side view, we have the hidden lines for these holes, and we see a visible line going all the way across in the front of everything else, but we're going to see hidden lines down in this space here. So let's go over that and look at that again. So these lines coming down into here, anything below this edge is going to be hidden. So that's actually going to be a hidden line right there. So front, top, front, right, ISO. Number 9. This one's a little tricky. We have an inclined plane that runs up and blends into an arc, and that inclined plane comes down here and blends into an arc. So we will not see a visible line here, and we will not see a visible line here. We won't see one here or here, even though this 3D model is showing us that there's one there. All right, so we have a slot running through a cylinder, and that's going to affect the side view a little bit. So let's go look at the front view. Front view makes sense. Let's go to the top. Here's that plane running up, and this is that inclined plane running up. There will not be a visible line here or here or here or here, right? That's just going to be open. That's a smooth blend all the way across. There will be a center line between this hidden line and this hidden line for the center axes of this hole and the center axis of this hole over here. There will be a center axis running through on this hole as well. So we go to the front, the top, the front, the right. A little trickier over here on the right side view. The slot that cuts through this cylinder actually removes some material from that cylinder, so we have to make a couple of cut-ins on this cylinder right here. We'll have a hidden line all the way across. This is the hidden line for the hole. We will not see this visible line or that visible line or this one and that one because those are those runouts. So watch as we come around. Let's look at this view here. So we've removed the material. See this, the top of this cylinder? It doesn't make it all the way across at that same height because this slot removes some of that material on the top and the bottom, and that's why. Let's go back to this and then go back to the right. So you can see where that cylinder's clipped on the top and the bottom. Let's go back to the front, to the top, the front, the right, back to the isometric view.